Greetings, X, Twitter. News is circulating today. A lot of it, actually, let me backtrack. A lot has happened over the course of the last 3 days. And I was going to go live in response to certain developments that I had seen occurred over the last 48 hours. And I think all that is overshadowed by the recent and abrupt announcement by our president, Joe Biden. The fact that he has decided not to seek re-election is a sudden historic event. But I think in hindsight, it calls us, or it brings us to a moment of reflection. I used that term recently in a video that I posted on on X, on my thread. I said it's a time to reflect. You know, when I was addressing the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. And that specific video, I made mention that there's a division, and I've mentioned this time and time again, that there's a division that is really poisoning our country, our political parties, and our system of government. And I think these events that have occurred recently are concrete proof that our systems are overtly contaminated. It's time, I believe, that as Americans, we need to hit the reset switch, as it were, and begin the process of healing our nation. Trump was, as you know, there was an attempt on his life. We've had Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who has passed away on Friday, I believe it was. We've seen the hatred on social media towards her by some of what we call the extreme right. This shows the lack of respect, the hatred from one party to another. And now, with the announcement this morning that President Biden is no longer seeking re-election, I believe the time has come for us as a nation to reflect and press the reset switch with respect to our future of our country, the future of our political parties. I am calling, challenging, as it were, the Republican Party, specifically our former President Donald Trump. You say you are a man of God. You say that you believe in God. Well, if you do, I think you know what the next prudent step in the direction of your campaign will be. I think you should pray, meditate, and really think about the direction of your campaign. I believe, and this may sound unnerving, this may anger a lot of people, but I think it's something that President Trump needs to think about. And that is that given the recent developments of this morning, maybe former President Trump should reconsider accepting the nomination of the Republican Party and reconsider whether or not he should seek re-election as our next president. Now, a lot of you may may think that this is a crazy notion. You may not agree with it. It may upset some people. But I believe that as a nation, if we are going to cross this hurdle of the election, if we truly want healing in our country, I think we should start with new leadership. New leadership on both sides of the aisle. This means that we need a fresh, new Republican candidate to carry the torch, just as we will be needing a fresh, new Democratic candidate to carry the torch for the Democratic Party. I believe it may be the appropriate and most correct thing to do if we want our country to come back to a restoration and healing. Far too long, our country has been poisoned by those on both sides of the aisle in this constant argument and fight between these two particular candidates, Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I think that if we want our country to succeed, we must bring new options on both sides of the aisle with respect to candidacies for the presidency. I know this is very late in the election year, but it is something that I believe needs to be done if we want our country to come back from the brink of this division that has occurred and has been ongoing. This video will be linked to both political parties, to both sides of the campaign trail, in hopes that this message of reflection will make everybody think for a minute and reflect on what we want for the future of our country. My message is clear. We need to take the opportunity that is occurring now to begin the path of restoration and healing in our government and our political parties. And to do that, both sides, Republican and Democrat, need to start fresh. It's the only way. And I'm sure many Americans would agree that the time has come for a restoration and healing for our nation. This is my opinion, this is my message, this is my reflection, and I sincerely hope that many Americans will take time to think and agree with me that it is time for our country to be restored and healed on the governmental level. Thank you, and may God bless America.